Hello, everyone. We will start our lecture on SK financial transactions. First, we will have a simple introduction on the subject. Disclaimer lang po ha, this lecture is not intended to replace your formal training on SK financial transactions that will be conducted by authorities. This is only intended for educational purposes and as a supplement to your formal training. I hope you will learn something from this lecture and will help you in your operations. Please don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. Thank you. In the previous years, SK transactions were managed at the barangay level. On 2015, Republic Act number 10742 was enacted, otherwise known as the Sangguniang Kabataan Reform Act of 2015, granting financial independence to the SK in handling operations, collections, and disbursement of SK funds. After the enactment of the SK Reform Act, yung DILG, DBM, and the National Youth Commission, gumawa sila ng Joint Memorandum Circular number 1, 2019. This circular was issued to prescribe the guidelines on appropriation, release of the SK fund. It also provides for the planning and budgeting process for the SK and emphasized the concomitant posting requirements to enhance transparency and accountability. Advice ko sa inyo ha, when I mention here legal basis like this Republic Act number 10742 and this JMC Circular number 1 2019, please write it down kasi this legal basis will be vital to your operations. Every now and then, as you execute your functions as SKs, babalikan nyo to. There will definitely be a need for you to go back to this act, to this circular, and the other issuances that I will be mentioning in this video. So ano tong Republic Act number 10742? This will be your Bible. Every now and then you will go back to this. This is the SK Reform Act of 2015. It provides for the participation of the youth in local governance and nation building. Dito tinasabi kung ano yung function nyo, kung ano yung contribution nyo in the nation building. It also provides for the powers and functions of the Katipunan ng Kabataan as well as the SK. It also provides for the frequency of meetings of the SK and all matters relating thereto. Also stated here are the qualifications of the SK officials, and their term of office is also provided for in this act. And most importantly, which will be the emphasis of this lecture, the SK Reform Act provides for the SK funds, the sources, the custody, appropriation, and disbursement of such fund. This lecture will focus on the SK funds and the responsibilities of the SK officials in handling such funds. One important provision in the SK fund is that it shall be kept in a government-owned bank with the SK chairperson and the SK treasurer as the official signatories. It is provided for under Section 20, Paragraph B of the Act. Bakit this is one of the most important? Because this is the purpose in enacting the Republic Act 10742 in the first place. It is aimed to grant the SK a financial independence. Because if you could remember the other SKs previously, before this law was enacted, the SK funds was under the custody of the barangay. So the SKs did not have the independence, the freedom to implement the projects that they wished. Kasi nasa fund siya ng barangay. Disbursement will be through the barangay. Approval of such will be through the barangay also. So this act was enacted to give SK the financial freedom. Freedom and power to implement the SK projects. And with all powers comes also with responsibilities. Ano yung responsibilities na yan? Because the SK fund is hindi natin minana sa mga lolo at lola natin. This is government funds. So we have the responsibility to account, to render accounting on the funds na kahit piso dapat walang mawala. Kahit piso accounted kung saan napunta. So, financial records prescribed by the Commission on Audit are to be kept by the SK Treasurer, copy furnished the Sangguniang Barangay, LGOO, LYDC, COA, and NYC. Although dito sabi should be kept by the SK Treasurer, you will find out in our other lectures that I will be making. Hindi lang si SK Treasurer ang may responsibility to keep records. Makikita natin na may responsibilities din yung SK Chair, ang Budget Monitoring Officer. But for now, as provided for Section 8, Paragraph G and Section 20, Paragraph D of the RA 10742, may financial records na prescribe ang Commission on Audit na i-prepare at ikikip ng SK Treasurer. Dito re-revolve ang ating discussion sa financial records na ito. The Handbook on the Financial Transactions of the Sangguniang Kabataan was prepared by the Commission on Audit to respond to the requirements of the Republic Act 10742. But before we go into the details of this handbook, I find it vital, I find it very important that you remember first some basic terms that we will be repeating on the entire lecture. The annual budget. It is a financial plan embodying the estimate of receipts and payments for one fiscal year, approved by the SK through a resolution before the start of the succeeding year, and should be consistent with a comprehensive barangay youth development plan and the APIP. Approved budget. You know, an annual budget is just a mere paper if it is not approved. So approved budget consists of the annual and supplemental budget based on an SK resolution. Original budget is the initial approved budget for the period. You will discover in your operations as you go along with the execution of your functions as SKs na marami yung budget na i-encounter ninyo. There will be changes to the budget. So original budget is the initial approved budget. Yung pinakaunang budget na ipiprepare ninyo at i-approve ninyo is the original budget. A commitment is the amount committed to be paid by the SK for any lawful payments to be made by the accountable officer for and in behalf of the SK officer. Ano yung commitment? Classic example dito is when you purchase like jerseys for the basketball team. After you undergo the necessary procurement process na kapag canvas na kayo, na-identify na yung kung sino yung bidder, supplier nyo yung na-identify na kung sino yung supplier that will give the most advantage to the government. Tapos nakapag-execute na kayo ng purchase order. Upon execution of the purchase order, it says there that the supplier commits to deliver the jersey and the SK commits to pay for the cost of the jersey. Doon pa lang, commitment na siya, nababayaran na siya. Babayaran niyo yung jersey. That is commitment. Another example is, like at the end of the month, yung cut-off ng electric bill nyo. So it is like May 29, dumating yung bill nyo. Sa May 29, ipopost mo siya as a commitment na babayaran mo siya pag first week ng June. Kasi June pa yung due. So commitment na siya. Anything na you have to pay is a commitment. Disbursements and payments are those payments ng commitment. Kung yung jersey na yon, nabayaran nyo na, that is already disbursement or payment. Fair value. This will be important. You will need to know the fair value kung in cases when there is a donation and you don't know the value of the donated property. Or when you buy something secondhand, hindi alam ng owner, ng seller, how much is the value of the property now kasi secondhand na siya. You will have to get the fair value of the property to be able to record it. Kasi dapat lahat rin record nyo. Kasi when it is donated to the barangay, when it's donated to the SK, or it is um, purchase nyo siya at magiging property ng SK, dapat rin-record na siya. If you don't know how much is the cost of that property, how much is the cost of that item, you will have to know the fair value. The fair value is the amount that a seller is willing to sell and the buyer is willing to pay for a commodity. Yan yung fair value. Supplemental budget, as in contrast with the original budget, it is the changes sa original budget. Like sa original budget, nag-budget ka ng 100,000 for concreting of this road, example. Tapos na-realize mo na kulang yung 100,000. Tapos may additional funds ka naman na pagkukunan. Gagawa ka ng supplemental budget increasing the original appropriation doon sa kanal. That is a supplemental budget. Or, kung if you realize that the 100,000 is sobra, babawasan mo because mayroon kang ibang gagamitan. Supplemental budget can also be a deduction to the original budget. So, supplemental budget, simply put, is the changes to the original budget. The final budget naman is the original budget plus minus the supplemental budget equals final budget. Property and equipment. These are tangible items with unit cost of 15,000 and above. So yung base natin is 15,000. Pag mag 15,000 na yung value ng isang property na binili mo, that is already property and equipment. If it is to be used for more than one reporting period, more than 1 year. Example, bumili ka ng, yung SK bumili ng motor. Motor is more than 15,000. So that is property and equipment. If the SK bought laptop costing more than 15,000 or more, that is property and equipment. Bumili ang SK ng table, but the table only costs 6,000. Hindi siya property and equipment because hindi niya na-meet yung 15,000 na capitalization requirement. Pero, pag bumili ka ng table, kasama ang chairs, isang set like parang session table siya. May isang malaking table plus 12 chairs. Isang set yung binili mo and it costs like 50,000. That is property and equipment. Kahit yung tagi-isang chair is 5,000 pesos lang, it would still be property and equipment kasi you bought it as a set. It will not function as it is intended kung table lang yung gagamitin mo. Hindi siya function kung upuan lang without the tables because the table set, the chairs and table set is intended for session. Another example is when you buy a printer. The printer costs 12,000. Hindi siya property and equipment because it did not meet the 15,000 capitalization threshold. But if you bought several printers with laptops or kahit printers lang, several printers, bumili ka ng 3 printer and you intend to install it to a network sa office ninyo, that is already property and equipment because the value of the aggregate of the 3 printers are more than 15,000 already. Pero pag bumili ka lang ng printer ngayon na 12,000 and the next year bumili ka ng another printer, tas eventually, ni-network mo siya Hindi na siya property and equipment because the intention first is parang isang printer lang. And then dalawang printer na. Tapos incidental na lang yung pag-network. So hindi na siya property and equipment. Hindi siya nakamit ng capitalization threshold. Ano na siya? Later we will discuss. What is receipts? Receipts constitute all collections during a given period in cash, check, direct deposit to the SK bank account. So pag mangolekta ka, makakolekta ka ng cash or cheque, receipts or collections yan. Paano pag direct deposit, i-transfer lang or credit memo lang, downloaded lang na funds sa bangko mo. Kahit hindi yan dumaan sa kamay ng SK Treasurer, receipts and collections mo pa din yan. Kahit pagtingin mo lang ng bank statement mo, may pumasok na doon, hindi mo alam. Collections pa din yan. Reporting period is the period covered by the financial statements and shall be January 1 to December 31. SK funds, the 10% of the general fund of the barangay. Take note ha, this is the general fund of the barangay. Hindi ito IRA, IRA, or National Tax Allocation. Dati IRA or IRA yung tawag dito. And now it is NTA na, National Tax Allocation. Minsan, general fund is equivalent to NTA, to national tax. Only if the barangay does not have any other local income. Kung ang barangay ay purely 100% dependent lang sa NTA. Pero kung ang barangay ay may sariling income, may additional income, like nangongolekta sila ng sedula, nangongolekta sila ng certification fees, nangongolekta ng barangay business permit, or may rental sila, may income sila. Now, the general fund is not equal to the NPA kasi yung general fund will be more than the NPA. So, take note, yung SK funds natin is based sa general fund ng barangay and not from the national tax allocation. Also included sa SK funds are the proceeds from fundraising activities and yung ibang funds na nare-receive natin without specific purpose. Pati din yung funds na may specific purpose belongs to the SK funds. What is semi-expendable property? Yun yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina. When you buy a printer, mag-isa lang siya. Hindi niya na-meet yung capitalization threshold na 15,000 pero magagamit siya for more than 1 year. Hindi siya PPE but semi-expendable property. And ano naman to supplies and materials? Supplies and materials are intended to be consumed or used during operations like bond paper, ballpen, ink. They are consumable. Or distributed, like kung may project, may program kayo na distribution ng school supplies, notebooks to the youth, to the students. That is also supplies and materials. And these include also daw semi-expendable property or tangible items with unit cost below 15,000. That ends the discussion of our terminologies. And I think that will be all. Yung next topic naman natin is we will discuss the basic standards and policies governing financial transactions and operations of the SK. Very important. Bakit? Because sa topic na to, you will learn bago ka mag-disburse ng funds, what are the things that you should remember? Before ka mag-draft ng check, tama ba yung binabayaran mo? Before ka mag-receive ng funds from the barangay, from other sources, ano ang gagawin mo? Pag ma-receive mo tong fund na to, pag ma-disburse mo tong fund na to, what are the documents that should be prepared? What are the reports that should be prepared? These are very important topics. I hope to see you in the next lecture. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video and click the notification bell.